Don't believe, just know. Cymatic TV, turning vibration into reality. Welcome to Cymatic TV. With me here, my name's Tom Lawless, and with me, my partner in crime, Tanya Lawton.
Hello.
And we have been writing books about fictional books and also technical books, haven't we?
We have.
And we wanted to talk about the subjects that we go into in these books. And the main book that's just come out is called The Event, Quantum Element. You'll find the link below. If you want to go and buy it. It is a great book. It explains a lot, but it is a fictional book as well and stuff like that. So we were just going to talk about subjects. And what did you want to talk about?
Well, today I would like to talk about, because it keeps coming up on my radar, and although it's part of the book, we don't dwell on it particularly, but I know a lot of people are interested. And I certainly am, and that is about spirit and channeling spirits. So I know you've got some views about this, so I'd like to sort of dig into that a little bit. So, I mean, how souls are constructed, what spirits are, and then, you know, can people actually talk to them? And that whole, I've watched a lot of YouTube videos about people channeling various, people or entities or aliens, all sorts, come up on the radar, and is that a thing?
Mickey Mouse.
Well,
that is the problem with the channeling thing. I won't say I don't do it. I think everybody does it on some level or another, but at the same time, channeling a spirit like that, you have. This is what we were saying earlier on. You'd have to believe it, rather than know it.
Okay.
So you've got to believe what the person is channeling in order for it to have an effect upon you, I guess. And I have problems. So I have problems with that. I have problems with basically, how do you know it's the person you're channeling?
So if somebody said at the beginning of YouTube, I'm going to channel, for example, Jesus today.
Yeah.
So already they have put in that mind that is the person they're going to channel. So will that have a bearing on who they talk to? And is Jesus available 24/7 on demand? Is that a thing?
Yeah. Imagine it if everybody was speaking to Jesus at the same time.
Exactly. This is
how does that work? Exactly.
So in your experience, can you talk to spirits? That's the first question.
I think you can do it. I do it in my job all the time for the healing and stuff like that. I do it all the time. And I do speak to spirits throughout my life when I'm doing bits of my general life. But I've never spoken to Jesus.
Right.
I have asked to speak to him. I've never spoken to him, but I have spoken to other people such as Muhammad and Vishnu and Ganesh. And
so is this something that you initiated, or did they just
some of them
come
I did
in their own volition?
Some of them I did. Some of them just turned up.
Right. So why would a spirit just turn up?
Well, okay. Well, I was sitting out the front of my retreat place in the foothills of the Pyrenees, and I was taking a break from the gardening. And I was just sitting there as you do, and that's when you relax and get in that zone where things happen and things are possible. And I see magnetic fields, so I see auras and stuff like that. And I was just sitting there, wandering off and kind of like, I'm doing it now, just like wandering off and looking at the magnetic fields of the trees and stuff like that. And you can see when a spirit sort of comes through it, a bit like, passing your hand through smoke, and you see the smoke going like that. So you get that sense that, oh look, here comes someone,
right?
And this sort of spirit turned up. I've never really met them before. I'll tell you another story, another one, but I've never really met before, and just kind of said, hi, how are you? Who are you? And and I said, how can I help you? And he said, oh right, well, I'm Vishnu, and it's more a question of how I can help you.
So,
I know.
Well, I bet you weren't expecting that sitting outside your house.
I wasn't. I was only having
sunny
a cup
afternoon.
Of tea. Exactly. I was only having a cup
So why on earth would Vishnu rock up?
It's probably to do with what I was working through at the time.
Okay.
I'm constantly, no matter what you do in life, you can always be exploring.
But you didn't put the intention out. This is just something that that came to you at that time.
Yeah.
So have you ever sat down and thought, no, I want to speak to a specific spirit?
Yeah.
And in that case, how would you know that you are in fact have a channel, a connection with that specific spirit?
Okay. First thing, I just wanted to finish that thing on Vishnu.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Me, I'm always moving on too quickly.
Yeah. No, I just said to Vishnu, I said, I'm not sure how you can help me, and he just said, give us a call when you need,
Cool.
Yeah, because I didn't really know what he was about or what Vishnu was about. Wouldn't really say it's a he, one of the things, but so I didn't really know how he could help me or how Vishnu could help me. So I have gone back to him since and sort of said, what do you think about that? Well, how does that work? I'm always trying to work out how things work.
So that's really your interaction with spirit, is to learn and to progress.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
So I would say like I wanted to meet, because there was all this, now we got that Colunio disease wandering around.
Oh, that one, yes. Say no more.
We're not going to go into all of
let's
that.
not dive down that hole.
Yeah, but because before that we had the ultimate fear was terrorism, and so I just want to have a word with Mohammed and see what he thought about it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
As you do.
So I said, like, can I speak to Mohammed? And I got in that sort of meditative state, as I explained earlier on, and he sort of turned up, a very hectic spirit. He's on a
finger on the pulse kind of
thing. He's really, he's a nice guy, really nice guy. Well, I say guy, but a nice spirit, and but he's really sort of, he's all about laws and regulations. That's what he's all about. That's what he's about. You know what I mean? And
what does he say?
Well, I said to him, what's going on with all of this sort of stuff? And we got into a conversation about sort of kind of going, but I can't intervene because you've got to admit as well that on the other side of the coin, with money, with big business, with so
there's some learning in there.
There is exactly there is that conflict, and he's sort of saying, he can understand people getting annoyed to an extent where they're going to get violent, and you probably see that with what's going on at the moment in America in the streets with the BLM and everything like that. You know what I mean? And I can understand that, and it's just kind of I was sort of saying to him, can you just help out with understanding that maybe there is another way of doing it? And he was up for it and sort of saying, okay, I'll try and help out and stuff like that, but
ultimately we can't really shortcut things, though, can we?
No, exactly. And he's got to be in his bonnet about money and how you shouldn't earn money off money just because you got money, which I totally agree with.
Indeed.
You know what I mean? And that's and he sort of says, well, if you apply that, then you get away with a lot of the stuff. And he's not up for getting completely bamboozled on alcohol all the time. And I'm not really an alcohol sort of kind of guy. So there's a lot of ground that we touch on and everything like that. But it's more sort of kind of going. There's a lot of chaff to sort from the wheat at the moment, and he was more sort of that sort of thing.
Wasn't that mentioned in Quantum Element? Chaff from the wheat, maybe once or twice.
Yeah, only once or
one
twice.
of your favourite things.
Yeah.
No, that is interesting. So you can connect spirit if you choose to ask.
What was the other question? The other question was, what do I do to know that you're speaking to that person?
Exactly.
Okay, so spirits don't tend to have a very long here and now memory,
right?
Because they're not living in the physical world.
Okay.
Right. So, and don't forget, when I'm speaking to a spirit, I understand that I'm speaking to a memory of a spirit. Don't forget that spirit has continued on,
right,
on his journey.
Okay.
So Muhammad doesn't actually exist as a one spirit. It's his memory, and this is all to do with the Akashic Library.
Okay, well, that's another conversation we definitely need to have.
Exactly, we will do, and you will probably find a link for that conversation in the thing below. But you're not speaking to. I'm not speaking to you. So we have that memory of what we're going through at the moment and everything like that. So that short-term memory you can play on that. I play on that
Right.
with spirit. So basically, it's sort of kind of going, who are you? I'm happy. Okay. And kind of, so you okay? Yeah. Okay. What's your name again?
Right. Okay.
And so you keep coming back to that.
Test him almost.
Yeah, exactly. You're not testing him.
But
you just want to make sure and make clear. Yeah, exactly. Make clear. And I've caught spirits out pretending to be other people.
Really? Can you give me an example of when somebody thought you might be talking to?
I think it was JC. Jesus.
JC.
That sort of thing. And I think it's something like that. And it's just they sort of like melting and changing. And you kind of go,
Why would a spirit do that? Why would effectively be an imposter spirit? Why would they do that? What would be their purpose to do that? Do they like having contact with humans? Does it give them something?
Exactly. There is a part of that. You'd have to ask that spirit in particular, I guess.
Mm.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, there is this duality that's going on with consciousness, and there's a war of consciousness and stuff like that. And if there's a war, therefore there's 2 opposing sides, or 3 opposing sides, or 4 opposing sides. And you're going to have spirits that are pushing agendas. I'm not up for that sort of thing. I think it's completely not a waste of time. Personally, I'm not a great fan of higher and lower beings and stuff like that. I think we're all on the same level, and we may not necessarily agree with on certain aspects, which is fine, which is good, healthy thing to have.
So could you access any sort of memory or essence of any spirit, or do they move on completely, never to be contacted again? Is that so?
That's
the spirit?
Akashic Library. So if you live a life, you create your book of your life and you download it in the Akashic Library, so then therefore you can have an interaction with that.
Mm.
So, but although it may not be the actual spirit as itself, you know what I mean. But then again, when people do, channeling sort of Mary and Jesus and stuff like that, the problem is that they're channeling the person from the iconic or the archetypal person that you would find in the Bible. Now, there is major problems with that because you're going to have to take the Bible word for word. And unfortunately, I don't take the Bible word for word. Even someone speaking to me and explaining to me about the situation, I won't take their thing word from word because they're only seeing it from their point of view. So I would listen to them.
So the same archetypal story that could come through, you would fundamentally disagree with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like Mary and stuff like that, I wouldn't perceive Mary as that loving mother of all.
Right. But that's what we understand, and
the
general public would understand that.
So then, when people channel that, and they sort of kind of
they're going in with that preconception, and Okay.
So then, sometimes when you watch some channelers, and they sort of kind of go, you've got to concentrate on the love, and you've got to spread that love. That's not, my kids, my dog could have come up with that. Do you know what I mean? It's not precise enough. I'm sorry, that's not cutting the mustard.
Right.
So preciseness
is important for you to have that conversation.
Yeah, why would you be bothering a spirit? Why would you bother someone if you didn't want precise information? You don't just phone up like a help desk and kind of go, what are you doing?
So there needs to be purpose in what you're putting out there. And the same with the Akashic Records. If you are asking questions of the Akashic Records, you have to be specific.
Yeah.
But that is another conversation.
Yeah, you can't just go.
So just for me, can one channel aliens? Is that a thing? As in language, as in vibration? How?
Yeah, I think so.
I think
you can do.
Okay.
Whether it's a good idea or not is another matter.
Right.
I'm a great believer that humans are here and we've got to take responsibility. Stop putting our responsibility in the hands of others. Stop putting your responsibility in the hands of, say, like Mary, Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad. We are living now. We've got to live that instant now. Yeah. Therefore, what was happening 2,000 years ago is not the same kettle of fish as happening now.
No.
It's like what was happening 250,000 years ago is not the same as now, although technology might have been a lot more advanced in the past than what we have now.
Really?
Yeah.
So well, I mean, we've talked about Atlantis and things like that, as in which evolution that we might actually be sitting in. But
that's what we explore in the books, and the idea of there is levels of evolution that we've been through, like school,
Yeah. And where are we at now? Just to finish up here on this one, because
we're at Kent.
In the evolutionary process.
In the evolutionary process, we are literally taking the exam at the moment.
We are.
But
this is an important time.
It is a very important time, and it's. But then don't get stressed about it. It should be fun.
Yeah. But do you think humans are learning?
I think they've learned. It's now a case of putting it into practice.
So it's kind of doing that exam and actually applying what you've learned.
Or maybe we're not doing that exam. Maybe we have done that exam and now we have to apply it.
We're in the application stage.
Exactly. And if we don't apply it, we're not going to get the job.
No. So if the doctor goes out with his degree and doesn't do the proper doctoring, then, there's going to be sick people. So we have to...
It's funny you should say doctoring for a doctor. Do you know what I mean? As a healer, someone who does healing, you know what I mean? Obviously, there is can be a bit of a sticky wicket.
Okay, so you can slap me for that
then. I'm not going to slap you for that. But
brilliant. No, thank you for that, because I watched, it comes across my screen much of the time about channeling, and I've always been very interested. But the reality and what you see, that could come off a book, couldn't it? Not everything is what you see.
Not everything is what you see, and I think that's probably. I think the best advice on channeling is listen to everything. It's a good idea to listen to everything, but don't believe everything.
Can anybody channel? Just to finish.
I think anybody could. Yeah, I think everybody can.
But then again, are you
not just channeling your imagination?
How do you know? I
see. That's the thing. If I can't see it, I ain't gonna.
But for a normal mortal human being such as I am sitting here.
Oh, you put me on that pedestal.
Go on then. No, but could someone like me channel if I meditated in the right way? But how would I know that I'm not just imagining it?
You need to know you before you do that sort of thing. So you need to know when the triggers within your body, the feelings, actually physically feeling things, the sensations, the emotions. Channeling is not about just regurgitating words out of your brain.
Right, okay.
Channeling is also being aware of the wind and how it's blowing the trees.
Right.
That is channeling. That is really channeling. Therefore, you're actually taking into account every single aspect of your existence rather than just putting it through your brain, because that is like.
The brain's the filter. It's gonna.
It's the processor. Yeah. It's processing.
So you're saying
information.
It's a bigger aspect of experience to get a full channeling experience.
But just live by that idea that rather than believe, know yourself first. Once you know yourself, you'll know if you're cheating yourself. If you're cheating yourself, why are you cheating yourself? Because you could be cheating. You could be channeling stuff. Just forget the fame, fortune, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Or the popularity and the idea that I'm a higher being than any. I'm not a great fan of. I'm a higher being than you and stuff like that.
You're definitely not higher than me.
I was just about to say that myself. So,
right, thank you, Tom. That's been
Tanya.
very, very interesting as usual, and we will go more into Akashic Records and reincarnation and all kinds of wonderful topics that I'm just waiting to grill about.
Going to earth energies, human energies, the solar activities. We'll be crossing a lot of paths, but we'll be talking a lot about the stuff we go into in the books.
Yeah.
So look at Cymatic Press and cymaticpress.com or lawlesstom.com. You'll be able to find a lot of our books on there, and we do write them together. We must specifically say that. I've got my name on it, but it's I couldn't do anything with that.
No.
So we
do it together.
Exactly.
But to share. We do it to share.
Yeah. It's great.
All of this is important to share, so that everybody can take something from it and walk away with something from it, so that they can live their life in a hopefully in a better and a happier way, and look after their own well-being.
Yeah. Okay.
Brilliant.
Ciao for now.
Ciao for now.
Don't forget to subscribe, click the bell, and all of that malarkey.
Hit the bell. Yeah. Hit the bell.
Hit the bell.
Don't believe. Just know. Cymatic TV, turning vibration into reality.